Welcome to It's a Disaster. Today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories. We're going to start with 9/11. We're going to go into the British spy theory. And we're going to end with the Titanic. So let's get started.
So, the Titanic, or no, 9/11, sorry. 9/11, I don't think Bush knew, but the government definitely did. And because even back in 2001, there's no way that those people would have got on that plane, especially if they were armed. I don't remember if they were armed or not, but if they were, there's no way they would have got on that plane. Even though security wasn't as good as it is now.
I feel like you'd see like an enormous gun or something walking up. Like you can't just walk in with like a strapped on like AR-15.
No.
Like, hey guys, like that's not how it works. I can see that.
But whatever, they got on a plane. Well, first of all, I don't think a plane crashed into the Pentagon either, because there's like security footage, and if you look at it, there's no wings on whatever's coming towards the Pentagon. And if you look at the hole that it left, there's no wing indents. It's literally just like a hole.
What if they like blew off the wings so they made it? It's like, oh look, a flying duck. Oh god, it's a plane.
I don't know, but and then Flight 93, don't think anything landed there, because if you watch the news coverage of it, it's just like ashes. There's no plane. So like, and planes don't just like disintegrate. They don't just like...
They got like chunks and like metal.
Yeah, you'd have chunks, you'd have metal, and they also couldn't find the black box. If you don't know what the black box is, it's a box that's in every plane that I think has all of like the radio transmissions, everything that's going on with all the plane parts and whatever. But yeah, they couldn't find that either. So like, where did it go?
Yeah, that's a good point, because like things would just disappear.
No.
I get that like when a plane crashes it like can scatter.
And there was no body parts either. There was no bodies.
It was just like an actual flight, wasn't it? It wasn't just like a baby jet or something. It was like a real plane. Yeah, that's interesting.
And if you go, so I went to the Flight 93 memorial for like our Washington D.C. school trip, and if you listen to the phone calls, every one of them says their first and last name. Would you call your parent and say your first and last name?
No, I'd hope my mom knows what my last name is. It'd be really bad if she didn't.
Yeah, I would not like pick up the phone and be like, this is like Sam Smith. Like, no one does that. And that's what all of the calls were. So that sounds really weird to me.
Interesting.
But the plane hitting the towers kind of confuses me, because one, there were multiple reports of people saying that they saw weird people placing things around the outsides of the buildings, which I'm assuming were detonators. And two, the plane would not have brought down that tower in the way that it did. So the tower collapses inwards, which to some people makes sense, because the floor is burning, but the walls, those are like steel walls. The plane would not have, it just wouldn't go, it wouldn't collapse inwards.
Yeah, the plane itself wouldn't make that happen. I can kind of see with like, if like the entire bottom, say that like the entire bottom floor had been blown out, I can see why it kind of did that.
Yeah,
but
because they blew it up.
It would have just been burning, but if they didn't blow it up, the plane wouldn't have just knocked it down.
No. The plane probably would have burned it. The plane probably would have fell backwards after it burned for a while, and the top probably would have went sideways. But no, they blew up the bottom so that it would fall inwards.
I feel like the bottom being like blown up was like extra. Like they're like, we have to make this go down. There's no way. Like the plane was just like the stunt, but like that's the real stuff in the basement.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, and okay, if you think about it, they're like, well, why would the government do that? Well, at the time, we wanted to go to war in Iraq, Iran, whatever, over there. And I don't believe the economy was that great back at the time, but I mean, because I researched it, but they wanted to make it better. And what made the economy better back when the Great Depression happened? Going to World War II.
It's true.
So they wanted to go to war to help our economy, because that would help, and that would create jobs and all that good stuff. So they needed a reason. So they called up Osama bin Laden and was like, hey, yo, I need you to, like, you know, into the towers. Which is awful. And, you know, a lot of people don't want to think that the government would do something like that, but they would, because they're greedy.
Government's one sketchy little mess.
They're greedy.
They got something going on.
And people don't understand that, and I wish they did. Like, my friends are like, oh my gosh, like, no, they wouldn't do that. Yes, they would. I'm sorry to say, but they would. And they did. But, whatever. So, that's my theory.
Yeah, that's interesting, because, like, buildings don't just, like...
They don't just collapse inwards.
And even the other plane, that's like... God, I don't like the government, because there's just so much going on. You don't know what's happening, and you're just like... You just don't. It's just like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's nothing that anyone can do about it.
yeah.
So, what's your theory?
So we're gonna move on to give some background on my theory. I work at, like, I'm a lifeguard, and I work at this, like, gym pool place. And there's this British dude there, and I spend 5 hours alone, and I witness a lot of things. So to give some background on that. So we're gonna jump back to the Revolutionary War. You know, British versus America. Yeah, the French were French. But, like, it was brutal. War is brutal. People don't like war. Because the UK was like, we gotta get you back. You're ours. We can't.
We gotta get you back.
You gotta stay with us. We're not losing you. And then we're like, yeah, no, we're gonna leave. And then they did. War is a brutal mess. They failed because war is harsh. Let's jump into the 60s now. The British invasion. We got the Beatles. We got the Rolling Stones. We got the Queen in the 70s. We got all these British bands coming over. We liked their music. We loved their music. We went to their concerts. We bought their stuff. All of that. And the monarchy was like, oh, wait, they like what's happening. What if we made the band members British spies under the monarchy and try to attract American citizens back into our power so that we can become a great nation again and, like, powerful? Like, we got America back. We're pretty much the whole world. Like,
Yeah.
So then moving throughout, they select, like, say they select, like, a group of people to come over and do that. So select people are peppered around the United States. And that leads me to the dude at the gym. This is gonna sound real weird because I don't know how else to describe it, but there's almost like a love pentagram going on where, like, there's just everyone, guys, girls, literally anything with anything is, like, on this, like, got the accent, got the bod, like, you got everything. So, like, things like that could easily just...
So people are, like, attracted to him?
Yes.
Like, everyone?
Yeah, basically. And then you can just attract people back to the monarchy. You can
With your looks.
Yeah. It's like looks. You could possibly pay them off. You could do other things. And, like, you basically got their trust and you got their, like, their emotions.
Yeah.
You got emotions. You pretty much got the whole package. And then slowly you can start, like, transporting these people back over, start belonging back to the British monarchy, even though it's a constitutional monarchy. However, there's still a whole history going on with the UK, America. All of the countries been, like, gone, separated, because the UK is now this tiny little rock.
Yeah.
We got this big old land, and they're like, why can't we get our power back?
Right.
We dropped out of the EU, we gotta do something. That's their plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, maybe.
Because why would there be a British dude in the middle of suburbia Ohio? What is the point of that? Like, if you had a choice, why
Is
would
he
you
vacationing here?
No, lives here, does work, like, lives, works, does his thing.
Maybe he's trying to live the American dream.
But why in suburbia Ohio? You could go literally anywhere else. Like, that's the thing. There's so many other places. Why would you pick such a random little town in the middle of Ohio?
That's what I always wonder about people that come and move here from, like, Florida. Like,
Yeah.
why?
But it's Florida. I can see why they came here from Florida.
Bro, I love Florida. What are you talking about? Anna Maria Island? The Gulf side is way better than
But why
that.
would you pick suburbia Ohio to, like... There's so many better places to be, but you pick suburbia Ohio?
Yeah.
And, like, you pretty much have an entire, like, facility wrapped around your finger.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the power. You basically run the place.
Yeah.
So, like, why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Like, the British know this, and they're like, we're going to take advantage of this. They can get these people wrapped on their finger, because we Americans like an accent, and we don't know why. We're just stupid, and we're like, accent, we're going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the British know this, and they're like, we're going to take advantage of this. And they are.
Yeah.
So maybe in the near future, we're going to be back under the British monarchy.
I hope not.
Constitutional monarchy.
I hope not. The Queen doesn't even have any power, really.
Yeah.
She can't really do anything.
That is true. But she's still there.
Yeah.
And she is still their head.
She's old. Dude, I don't think she's ever gonna die.
She's a powerful lady.
That's a whole other conspiracy in and of itself.
She's not gonna die.
She's never gonna die. But anyway, so our last theory, the Titanic. So
Leonardo DiCaprio, no room in that door. R.I.P.
once again, our government, to start off, back a few months, I think it was March, before the Titanic was to set sail, the same company had a boat that looked just like it, called the Olympic. And that boat got into a wreck.
She was also getting pretty old, wasn't she?
Yes.
That boat was like, yeah.
Yeah. That boat got into a wreck, and then there was like a huge sum of money that needed to be paid to fix it. Well, they didn't want to pay that because they're cheap. The government is greedy and cheap. So they kind of put a band-aid on it for the time being. And since the Titanic and the Olympic look exactly the same, except a few differences, there were a few differences.
Wasn't the portholes like
The
different or something?
portholes were different, and each piece of the boat has a number on it specific to the name of the boat, but we'll get into that. So they painted over the Olympic, and they named it the Titanic, and they put people on it, and said, have a good time. Once you all die, we will collect the insurance money for this boat, because that's what they get. If it, wrecks or crashes or sinks, they get insurance money. They put people on it. They set it sail. I don't know that they knew that there was that specific iceberg right there, but my thing is, like, they definitely would have been able to see it sooner and been able to turn out of the way of it.
The dudes didn't have binoculars, unless the whole thing was like planned, but didn't have the right equipment at the right time.
Yeah. And they also did not have enough lifeboats for everybody on that ship.
Yeah, because that was a big ship too. Like,
That
they gotta
should
have
be-
people, man. Like, yeah, it's unsinkable, but like, dude, you gotta have protection.
I'm not sure that it was like regulation or law back then, but you should have a lifeboat for each person in the boat. Like, you should be able to fit every person on a lifeboat. And they couldn't. They didn't have enough. And the life jackets were not going to help, because have you seen those life jackets? They're old,
They
and
also
they
didn't have enough of those either.
No, they didn't. No.
Plus, if you're in that freezing cold water, you're gonna have a family, you're gonna die. That's what pretty much everyone did in the movie. If you think
Yeah.
about the movie, even in
Yeah.
real life, of course, that's how everyone died. But
Yeah. Captain went down with the ship, because that's like
what they do,
what they do.
it's like their tradition, I guess. You could
Yeah,
say.
but also there was supposed to be a few like very wealthy, famous people on that boat that day, and J.P. Morgan was one of them. He had bought his ticket, and then suddenly he canceled the day of, saying he was sick and couldn't go. But there were reports of him out on the town with his girlfriend that day. So the wealthy people that knew it was going to sink probably told the other wealthy people, hey, don't come on this boat, we're going to sink it.
Did they ever get a refund for their ticket, or did that also go into, like, paying off the other boat?
Oh, probably not.
I mean, it's like 1910s, but, like...
Right.
Did refunds exist back then?
They probably did not get a refund. Nor did the families probably get any compensation, I don't think. But...
Well, they couldn't even identify most of the bodies that went under because they were under.
Right,
like,
and
they're not
once
going
you
to go
get
fishing for bodies.
Once you get to a certain like point, your body explodes because of the pressure. So,
got fish food.
Yeah.
Basically, they just fed a bunch of fish and then took a bunch of money just to buy that boat.
And so back to the parts having specific numbers to the boats. They found pieces of the Titanic and brought them up. Well, the number on it was for the Olympic. And they also found a piece of the quote-unquote Titanic that literally said Olympic on it. They found that.
Didn't they find, like, part of, like, the painted part that just had, like, a giant M, which there's no M in Titanic.
Mm-mm.
Like, I can't spell, but there's no M in Titanic.
No. Yeah, they found that.
Yeah, that's really interesting that they just disguised a boat. It was like putting one of those, it was like putting two kids on top of each other's shoulders and wearing a trench coat and saying, yeah, we're Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're just another boat.
And
destined to die.
the whole boat kind of makes me mad because, you know, they were like, oh, upper class passengers get on lifeboats first.
And then they didn't even fill them though either. They didn't even fill it. They like went half. And like, that's good enough. And I was like, there's still people.
It doesn't matter, like, if you're a lower class or higher class person, women and children first. Doesn't matter what class you are. I don't care.
But they did do first class. That was the thing.
Yes.
That's what
they did first class first. And that's not fair. And also the food for the lower class people was just like not good. Like, I don't know. If you're gonna have that boat, I feel like you should not have classes. I know it was different back then, but...
Yeah, but y'all should have fed your people. If you were just gonna kill them, you might as well just feed them.
Yeah, you might as well just feed them
Maybe they just didn't want to spend money on the food, because they're like, oh, they're gonna die. Who cares if they're eating well?
Probably.
They're just gonna die in 3 days. Who cares?
Maybe. I 100% believe in that theory, because... the government is greedy, and like I said, a lot of people don't want to believe that that's possible, but it definitely is. And they will do that. And they did.
Governments are a mess.
And I'm, like, so sorry to all the people that died in both of those, like, accidents. I'm sorry, your government is awful.
Yeah. See, a common thread is always connected to the government. There's always something connected. When there's a theory, it's always the government. And that's something that, there's something off about that. Like, why would there always be connected to the government? There shouldn't be, like, if you trusted your government, you wouldn't have so many theories
against them.
Yeah. Which is just a whole nother thing about
the government itself.
Yeah, like, you can't even trust your government, so you're like, what if they're doing this instead?
Right.
Like, the whole British thing, like, what if? Like, you don't even know, because you don't trust it.
No.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Join us next time on the This is a Disaster podcast, and we'll see you later. Bye.